today. New leaked emails show that Nashville officials hid COVID data to keep the bars closed down. The majority of business closures, by the way, from COVID are permanent. So congratulations, everyone. We've done it, and much more to come. Don't change the dial. It starts right now. Welcome to the news and why it matters. I am Sarah Gonzalez, today joined by my good friend, Jaco Booyens, host of the Jaco Booyens Show. Thank you for being here. Every time I see him now every week, he's like, you're still here. Yep. Where's the baby? Yep. I'm asking that question too, Jaco. I would love to know where this baby is and why it's still here.
You gotta be ready. But we're so glad she's here, though.
Yes. And on her maiden voyage on the show, we have Shemaine Nugent. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And so Shemaine hosts a podcast as well. Can you let all of the viewers know where they can find you?
I'm on social media on Instagram, and I do a Facebook watch show called Simply Shemaine that comes out every Tuesday at 5 Eastern. And it's all a little bit about politics, a little bit about healthy living. I've been teaching group fitness classes since 1980.
Wow.
A long time. And I have done a few shows on sex trafficking. But I always end with something to make you smile. So that's my claim to fame.
I love that.
Good.
Well, so we are going to get into the headlines of the day, but just curious, you do politics, but you also do your show on Facebook Watch. Have you found trouble with Facebook?
Oh, yeah.
Censoring your stuff?
I started out at getting close to 100,000 views a week, and now it's down to about 20 or 30,000. Just flat out suppression.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, we can relate. During the breaks, we'll commiserate about that because I certainly have had my fair share as well. All right, into the headlines of the day. So leaked emails between an advisor in the Nashville mayor's office and the city health department indicate that the officials were actually interested not in, helping the community be the best that they can be, but more interested in concealing the number of COVID-19 cases that were actually traced back to bars and restaurants because the number was too low. The number was too low. Yep. They didn't feel like it would be a very good optics. And so they concealed it. As of June 30th, contact tracing efforts had found only 22 cases that were tied to bars and restaurants. And just for perspective here, more than 1,000 cases each were traced to construction and nursing homes. And in these leaked emails, you have the health department official saying this isn't going to be publicly released, right? And then the senior advisor to the mayor, Benjamin Eagles, of course, says, correct, not for public consumption. So there you have it. It's almost like we thought that this was happening the whole time, and now we are seeing it all come out, and it's all happening exactly the way that we said that it would. Who knew?
This one's a little personal. You don't know this, but you know my whole family and the in-laws live in Nashville.
Yes.
Well, the restaurant in picture, there's a restaurant called Puckett's Grocery, which is incredible. Little shameless plug. My father-in-law is also invested in it. They're going to be livid when they hear this, right? But it's John Cooper.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. It's a liberal mayor.
Right.
Come on, can we just, the script, roll it out and see that they play the script? Of course. And I think we're going to see this even more so post-election. We're going to see these stories come out, these leaked emails come out as people get a little more brave, saying, hey, this is what really happened. How we suppressed numbers. We shouldn't be surprised, not after the CDC comes out and said, we only missed it by 96%.
Yeah. Just the 96% though.
I think, quite frankly, Americans are getting exhausted with all of this. We did what they wanted us to do. We flattened the curve. We followed all the rules. And quite frankly, doesn't whiskey cure everything? So shouldn't we be going to bars? I don't know. That's what I heard.
I can't wait to remind myself of that.
Yeah, you can't. Not for you.
No. I'll defend.
But when I have a sore throat, I have honey and whiskey and lemon and a little hot toddy. And, it's just really quite exhausting because good American people who are building businesses, who have solid work ethics, are being ruined, destroyed because of what? What is this? What is this all about? Because it's not about the virus.
No, political agenda. And as Sarah said, there are businesses that will never open.
Yep.
I don't know that New York City will ever be the same. I know we're getting there, but they've harmed American citizens. This is legitimate now. And I wrote an op-ed on the collateral damage. I didn't even think at that time when I wrote it, I truly understood what the collateral damage was going to be from these actions, from pushing a political agenda, from hating a man who was duly elected by the people, by the way. Right? So.
Yeah. And by the way, just for clarification purposes, the mayor's office was asked whether or not they would confirm if the emails were authentic, and they were not going to confirm that.
Of course not.
So,
of course
kind of gives you your answer without answering the actual question. Shemaine, you bring up that the American people are tired of this. They don't get it. And it reminds me, it feels like the Democrats are using the same playbook over and over and over again. We saw it with Russia. They overplayed that. They played it out for 2 years. They wasted millions of taxpayer dollars and plenty of time that could have been spent doing other things. And I felt like even just a couple months in, Americans were like, so if we don't see if we don't feel the pain of what's going on, if we don't see that you're actually making progress on this, we're out. And then we had impeachment, and now I feel like it's the same thing with this.
Well, and you forgot about the killer bees, or wasps.
Yes.
Hornets.
Murder hornets.
Yeah, the murder hornets, yeah. We forgot about those. Those were, God, I was really scared about that. I mean, I was afraid to go outside.
They were coming for you.
They were. I knew they like blondes. Did you hear that? I heard they like blondes, too. But, so they came after me, but I'm still here. Praise God. But, it is quite exhausting. We can't figure out what they're going to come up with next, and I'm shocked that more Americans, more Democrats aren't waking up to this and coming over to the right side.
I am too, Yaku. I just saw Governor Abbott had a press conference today, and I guess he said 75%. Some businesses can open now too. Thanks a lot, King Abbott. We really appreciate you letting our businesses open to almost full capacity, but not quite. And I see all of this happening, and I saw the comments on social media, which I know you should not pay attention to. But it does give you kind of a good indication of where the other side is, how they feel. And there were so many Democrats, like you said, Shemaine, there were so many Democrats who were like, they're like, oh, well, okay, well, let the Republicans go out and live so that they can go and, perish in the flames of COVID, and then we'll come out when it's all said and done and win this war. And I'm like, how are you still locked down in your houses?
It's unbelievable. But you know what? The way I see it is that people who weren't extraordinarily religious prior to this, COVID has become their new religion.
Yeah.
Are you aware of the masked Nazis?
Oh, yes.
I mean, I've got yelled at twice in the past day that the mask was not over my nose.
Oh, yes.
That's going to make a big difference.
Yeah.
And then there was a woman, as I was going into the grocery store, she had her mask around her chin, smoking a cigarette. So
she cares.
She cares about her health. Yeah. The good news is, I think that if we want to look at the bright side of this, I think we're all going to be more health conscious, I hope and pray, and take care of our bodies.
Yeah, look, COVID, there's a lot of good things that are going to come out of COVID. And there was an amazing opportunity for the church to recalibrate too.
If we can get back into church.
Well, where is our position? Yeah, but you're not in church if you're in the building. And that's part of the problem. Church needs to start activating in the street. Church needs to start actually walking in and out and stand for righteousness and stand for liberty, stand for justice, because it's happened on our watch. We've been pushed around in this country, prayer out of schools, all that stuff happened because we are the silent majority. Wake up, silent majority. But to that point, they've taken the poison, Sarah. Yeah. They've taken it hook, line, and sinker. Those who are die-hard, go-die Republicans, you go into the street, although nobody's falling over anywhere, by the way. And I travel, okay? And we are more open than other states.
Yeah.
Okay? Because other places are dismal. I was downtown Phoenix the other day, and it was ghost town. And it's a conservative place, but it's ghost town. But they've taken the poison to an alarming rate, where even now, after you get the CDC saying 96%, this, facts coming out, they're hiding numbers, and they hurt businesses, they'll still say, nope, lockdown, we want to be locked down. It's alarming. It's really alarming because those individuals, I don't know, they may be gone. We may have lost them as contributing citizens to the United States.
Well, and that's what they want, though, is they want us dependent on them.
Of course.
On big brother, big government, and it's such a shame because it really is not only businesses, but look what's happening to our kids. I saw a woman on the plane, just flew in, a woman on a plane with I would say a 2-year-old struggling to keep the mask on the 2-year-old.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Seriously?
I mean, it's almost every day now I see a headline of, Southwest kicks woman
Yes.
with 2-3-year-old off the plane because she let her kid eat a snack and pulled the mask down while the kid was eating the snack, or the 2-year-old wouldn't wear the mask, and so they had to turn around and take them back to the terminal.
Yes.
And I'm like, have you guys ever been around a 2-year-old?
You can't get a 2-year-old to eat broccoli. Like, how are you going to get
But how do you prolong this game plan, which is their 4th attempt and attack, and it's not riding all the way to November? Remember, they wanted to just end it with impeachment. And then they said, well, now let's ride, the next wave. And all of a sudden now, they lost control, and now COVID didn't make it to November. You know what I mean? It's like, we got to prolong it, so now it's fear-mongering.
Yep.
It's public shaming. It's kicking people off it's all through fear.
Yeah.
Feels a lot like what they did in Germany, right? By forcing people to cry Hail Hitler and whatever, right? And by forcing them, shaming them in public, rallying around a woman in a restaurant and say, raise your hand in the BLM movement, and people just going, no. And I just want to encourage you, stand, toe the line, stand, have a spine. Okay,
Yep.
they're the cowards. Come November.
If we don't stand up for this, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is going to be replaced by quarantines, masks, and vaccines.
And taxes.
And taxes, more taxes. We do have to stand up, but the problem is when they're coming after you and you're just by yourself. We saw about the couple in New York that were just enjoying themselves on a nice summer day, and you get attacked. It's coming to the point where I had an incident just yesterday, actually, where a homeless guy came up to me. I will say, my husband's Hellcat. Can I say badass?
Yeah.
Can I say that?
Yeah.
Okay. Pretty badass kind of car. And this homeless guy was walking in front of me, and I could tell he didn't have clean clothes or clean hair, and shoes were holey, and just had that shuffle about him. And then he saw my car, and he literally took a hard right and started coming towards me and was inches away from my driver window. I backed it up, put it in reverse, and used all of the power of that Hellcat to get out of there. But what do people do? How do you defend yourself if you're a pregnant woman by yourself, and they come up to you and they're in your face? Say her name.
Right. Well, just to wrap up this particular topic with what's going on in Nashville, do you guys think that ultimately silver lining of all of this COVID stuff, right? We're talking about all of the negatives. We've got the majority of lockdown business closures are permanent to get into here in a little bit. But do you think that ultimately the silver lining of this will be the undermined faith in these institutions that really we should have not had faith in for a while now, like the CDC, like these government officials who, for a long time, people just want to believe that they're all here to do good, and they're these white knights. And I feel like, if anything, at least maybe this has planted the seed. What do you think?
100%. I think we should dub 2020 the Great Reveal.
The Great Awakening.
Yeah, the Great Reveal, where all those evil things that have always been hidden and we bought into, to your point, it's now uncovered, and we go, okay, you fooled me once, but now I'm not. I absolutely think silver lining is there. I have to. Yeah. I have to still believe in the American people. Yep. I have to still believe that even though we don't see them yet, we will see them at the polls. I actually believe that is happening, Sarah. Yes. I
do too. I don't know if you know about the movie Dirty Dancing.
Of course.
Oh, okay.
Well, everybody wants to do the Patrick Swayze movie.
Can we do that later? There's a big open space, and I know how to do that. But in the movie, in Dirty Dancing, Patrick Swayze's character says, nobody pushes baby in a corner.
Yes.
And that's what's happening now. They're pushing all of us into a corner, and we are coming out fighting.
Yeah. All right, we have got much more to come. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Home Title Lock. So here's the deal, guys. You think that when you leave your house, you have an alarm system and you set it and then you leave and your home is safe, or so you think. But what you don't know possibly is that cybercrime for a home title theft is actually one of the quickest growing crimes in the country, according to the FBI, because all of our homes titles, they're online. now, where cyber thieves can go in, they can forge your signature on a quitclaim deed, and then they can refile as the new owner of your home. You're off the title. All of the retirement nest egg that you have put in, all of the equity in your house could be gone just like that. Trust me, you don't want to find out about this before it's too late. And you might think, well, I've got a banking system. I've got a banking program that'll take care of that. Common identity theft programs, banking programs, protection, none of those actually protect you from home title theft. But Home Title Lock does. It protects your home's legal title, and it puts a virtual barrier around your home's title and mortgage. And the instant that they detect tampering, they will shut it down. Now, you're not going to know if you're a victim unless you go to HomeTitleLock.com. Register your address to see if you have already been a victim before it's too late. You can use promo code WHY, that's WHY, for 30 free days of protection to help you manage the crisis. If it turns out that you are one of those people, but you got to know before it's too late. You got to go to HomeTitleLock.com. That is HomeTitleLock.com, promo code WHY. Back in a minute. All right, just want to touch on this before we move on, but we did talk about it in the opening. So just 6 months into the economic disruption of COVID-19 here in this country, the website Yelp, you guys are familiar with Yelp, right? Yelp has found that more than 60% of business closures that have occurred just since March 1st are now permanent. Now, the way that they did this is from March 1st through August 31st, 163,735 businesses have changed their status on the website to reflect closures. And of those 163,735 businesses, almost 98,000 of them have been marked as permanently closed. And that is a 34% increase since mid-July. Again, I feel like, I just said this, the last segment, I feel like it's like, hey, guys, there were some people who were warning everyone of this, and we were saying, yes, there may be a virus that people might be dying from, but that number is much more minor than the detriment that you are going to do to this economy. If you close people's livelihoods, if you close people's businesses, they can't feed their families, they are shut in, they don't have a way to provide. And now here we have it. And of course, the restaurant industry, I'm sure this will come as no surprise to either of you. The restaurant industry has been the hardest hit during the pandemic. And again, it's like we tried to warn everyone. I don't mean to toot my own horn here, but I recall sitting right here at this table and being like, hey, guys, maybe we should consider whole health of the country.
You did that.
Right. Yeah. Whole health of the country and not just an actual virus. Maybe we consider whole health and that this will be way harder to dig ourselves out of. But
you remember when the President of the United States said, we've got a COVID task force. I'm going to bring in the business element because we need to look at this holistically. And they just about crucified the guy. And like, that's a smart move because this is not a one-size-fits-all approach where Fauci runs the world.
Right.
Okay.
Well, so, I mean, they're scientists, they're doctors, they're not economists, right?
Exactly.
They're not.
But it's a disaster.
Yeah.
Because those businesses. Sorry, Shemaine.
No.
Those businesses.
You could tell when I took a breath.
Yeah. It's amazing. I'm so blessed to be with two powerful women. It's so good. But those businesses, let's not be ethereal about it. Those businesses represent people. Families, children, literally now not having an income in the home. It is a ripple down effect and impact in this country that we will not be able to truly measure for years.
For years. And we're never going to come back. We can't come out of this the way that we had a normal livelihood. My stepson owns 3 restaurants in New York. And they're struggling. I don't know how you can't make it happen anywhere. Yeah. And the problem is, are they happy? I just want to look into a camera and go, Nancy Pelosi, are you happy?
Right.
Are you happy with this? Because it seems like now they don't care about people. We care about people.
No, they don't.
We obviously care about people and their businesses and their livelihoods and future generations. They care about getting one thing, getting Trump out.
Yes.
And it's like a ship going down. Grab the life jacket. Grab the cup. That'll help me. Whatever it is. The red pen. Yeah. They're grasping at anything.
I mean, the best form of leadership is what's called servant leadership. Okay, you lead up. We've got a president that's saying, "I'm about the people." I've not seen anything anything
from
in 4 years where they put the people first, down to her hair blow.
No. It's called blowout, by the way.
Blowout, hair
Big
blow.
difference.
Well, maybe hers is a hair blow and she needs a real blowout. Maybe. By the way, can I do a quick ad? Buy this mug. It's an amazing mug.
I want this.
Come
I'm gonna
on.
buy
Keep it.
Buy
Give
this
it
mug.
to new guests on the show.
Cheers. Cheers.
Yes.
Yes. Cheers with our water.
Shop.blazemedia.com.
It's
Yeah.
water.
It is
water.
It is water.
It's water.
So the moving on to another headline of the day, the looting and destruction of property linked to all of the rioting that's been taking place across the country, following, of course, I feel like, you know, the old lady in the Titanic, the movie The Titanic?
Yeah.
I feel like her whenever I talk about all of these things because I feel like that's how long it's been.
Shelley Winters?
Since-
Is that
I
the
think
one?
so.
Yeah.
I think
Or the one that it's about, Titanic is about.
No, the one in the movie.
Okay.
And she's like, it's been 10 million years. That's how long I feel like it's been since we've started talking about this. But following all, you know, it started in Minneapolis. We had all of the riots and the looting after the death of George Floyd. Well, now it's estimated to be, the destruction of property is estimated to be the most expensive in insurance history. This is an interesting quote from a firm. They compiled the data. It's called Property Claim Services. They said, the protests that took place in 140 U.S. cities this spring were mostly peaceful, but the arson, vandalism, and looting that did occur will result in at least $1 billion to $2 billion of paid insurance claims. So that's this. I mean, it was mostly peaceful other than the $2 billion of damage that they had to pay.
And $2 billion of damage did not make one life safer.
Right.
Did not protect one black kid.
Well, it
actually killed many.
Yes.
More than police ever touched.
Yes.
The hypocrisy that you are willing to harm and kill and hurt your own people,
Yep.
who you claim to protect, right? To get your rhetoric.
Want to. Yeah.
Or get your rhetoric across. It's despicable.
But here's the problem. We're all thinking logically. They're not.
No, there's no logic.
This is like saying the Gulf War was mostly peaceful. You know, this is a new element and one that, you know, it's a rude awakening, but it's one I think it was necessary for us to really, you know, the silent majority cannot be silent anymore. We have to be loud and proud patriots. We have to stand up for what is right. When we see something, yes, you got to say something. And what's going on right now is wrong. But the sad thing is, I worry about those people who are on the fence and they don't know what they don't know. Yeah. And I don't know if you have people in your lives who are, well, I don't like Orange Man.
Yes.
Whatever, for whatever reason. So they're going to vote for Biden. No, we don't want everybody to vote if you're like that. When you try to explain logic and common sense, it's like their ears are closed off to it. So that's what scares me.
Well, that's a good point too, because I also wonder, and of course this is being, I have a history of working in the insurance arena. So maybe it's just the insurance lady and me talking, but I see this and I know that there's such a disconnect already with how people perceive insurance companies. And so I'm hoping that they understand that this $2 billion that's paid out, you know, when the insurance premiums jump up, that's not because the insurance companies are greedy.
Exactly.
Right, because we've heard time and time again from all of these rioters, well, that's what they have insurance for. The insurance companies will pay for it. Well, guys, this isn't free money.
The premium.
Right, this isn't free money.
Lunch.
I mean, and it's the
back
same
to the
thing
free
with health
lunch
insurance.
that they'll promise.
According to BLM, the leaders of BLM said that they can afford it. They have insurance. So go ahead and if you want that Gucci bag.
Exactly.
You can have that. You need it.
No,
exactly.
But the sense of entitlement. That picture you had up there, I don't know if the producers can pull that back up, but if you look at that picture, it's like a scene from Terminator.
Yeah.
The one with look at that.
Yes.
That's
Well,
reality,
mostly,
by the way. That's not
well,
Hollywood.
okay, so that's mostly
peaceful.
That's mostly peaceful.
Because he's got a mask. He's being considerate of others.
The Terminator is about to walk out of that car,
He's being considerate. Look, and he's got sunglasses on. So he's being considerate of others.
Yeah, why does he have sunglasses on?
You have a problem with that? No.
It's in the dark. All right, so tell me what you guys think about this one. The Department of Justice is looking into whether federal charges can be brought against Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkan over her failure to crack down on the whole autonomous zone that was controlled for weeks by rioters. Of course, there were several deadly shootings, lots of rioting. There were injuries. Obviously, the people who lived in the neighborhood that they controlled were left just, completely unprotected. And so now the Department of Justice is trying to find out. She may face federal charges. I say, bring it on.
Absolutely. Throw the book.
Yeah.
Throw the book at it. And not just her, not only, but this is also a mayor that refused to take a phone call and police calls, and they just
Wasn't she the one who said it's just going to be the summer of love?
Exactly.
It's just the summer of love, guys.
Come on.
Just let them play out.
This is Woodstock.
It's like Woodstock.
This is Woodstock.
Yeah.
With fire.
Right. And shootings and
looting and some death.
Yeah.
Syringes on the round.
Right.
Stuff that you don't want to smell or.
Right.
What I wonder is, why do so many people, Hillary Clinton, get away? Sorry, I had this terrible cough.
Oh, wow.
Why do so many people get away with everything? Why does it feel to me like nothing's going to happen?
Now, there's deep protection, and there is a deep
state of protection, and it's a shame.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like a losing battle, but it's not going to be, because we're going to stand up and fight.
And that's what I was going to say is it does feel like when you're looking in the legal system, it feels like they're always slipping through the cracks and they're able to get away. But you have to believe that all of the residents of all of these cities, these inner cities, who were left unprotected, who don't feel like their city officials stood up for them. I gotta believe that if that's not a wake-up call, I don't know what is.
People have to understand, and what you do is so important. One voice truly matters. For you to step out of your shell and your comfort zone and to speak out about what you and your family have gone through is epic. And imagine the ripple effect if everybody saw something that was wrong and everybody started speaking out about it. Mm-hmm. I think we can really make some incredible strides.
I think Sarah makes a really good point. In those cities, it needs to be class action style, class action
absolutely.
suit, and say, we're just going to come in numbers, and we're going to use the law that still prevails in our country, although they're trying to erode it. It still prevails, so use the law. It's in your favor here.
Yeah.
Do it by the book.
But sadly, look at, the McCluskeys, what happened in St. Louis. It's got to come from where there are Republicans in, majority and Republicans in charge. And unfortunately, it might not happen in those democratically run cities,
but you can't, because you think it might not happen.
I agree.
Not
I
punch
totally
back.
agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
You got to push back. Yeah.
All right, we've got more to come. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Rough Greens. So if you are a dog owner and you have not yet tried Rough Greens, you got to do it. I get it. Like, we all love our dogs. We're here in America where we spoil the crap out of our dogs and we let them on our furniture for some unknown reason. I'm like, why did I start this? Dogs are dirty and she's on my couch. Why did I do this to myself? It's because we love our dogs and we want them to live the longest, healthiest, most comfortable life possible. Well, you can help your dog do that with Rough Greens. It is not a dog food, so it's not going to take the place of your dog's food. But if you're feeding them dry dog food, all of the good stuff that's in it that's supposed to help them thrive, the vitamins, the minerals, the antioxidants, the probiotics, all of that stuff, it's already killed out of the food to give it that long shelf life. So they're not getting it from that food. You got to add it back in with Rough Greens. It is a supplement that you sprinkle on top. It adds all of those things back in, and it helps your dog really thrive. And as an added bonus, if you have a really picky eater, like my dog, my Doberman, never wanted to eat until we started feeding her with the Rough Greens on top. And now she finally eats, and she doesn't wait until 4 p.m. to eat her breakfast. And we know that she is getting all of the nutrients she needs to live a longer, healthier life. You can take the Rough Greens 14-day Jumpstart Challenge today. It is $14.95. You will see the difference in your dog in those 14 days, usually less. If you want to see your dog thrive again, especially if you have an older dog, let them live out the rest of their lives as comfortably as they can. It'll increase joint mobility if they have a problem with that as well. You can go to roughgreens.com/blaze. That is RUFF greens.com/blaze. Back in a minute. Shemaine, I remember earlier you said that you talk about, on your show, you talk about politics, you talk about healthy living. You mentioned you guys talk about vaccines. So I'm curious to know your thoughts about all of this vaccine-related conversation that's taking place surrounding COVID-19. I know there are a lot of viewers out there who, I think a lot of them actually, they were previously were like, yeah, vaccines are ultimately good, I think, but now they're seeing all of this COVID-19 vaccine being pushed on them, how quickly it's all happening, and it's making a lot of people uncomfortable with the idea that they're supposed to just go and get a jab for something that they're not scared of to begin with. And I know that Governor Abbott also during his press conference that we talked about earlier today, there were some mentions of, until the vaccine becomes available, and it just feels like we've got to do all of these things until the magic pill becomes available. And I just kind of wanted to open up a dialogue and get your thoughts on that.
Well, first, I'm not anti-vaccine. However, I don't get the flu shot. I never will. My son, after he was vaccinated, one of his vaccines, the next day had 104 fever. And I know all the side effects. What I wonder is, why do they have to put all these other things in the vaccine? And that's what worries me. And again, I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but I don't like the rush. I would take a vaccine or encourage people to take a vaccine that President Trump has authorized over Bill Gates any day of the week.
Yeah, and I did hear Bill Gates. Now Bill Gates is coming out and he's like, well, I don't know if we can trust this vaccine.
He's not making any money off of it.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's interesting how you change your tune when it's not your vaccine that you're making money off of, Bill.
Yeah, but come on, let's not repeat what we just walked through. There's a magic pill and it's coming. No, there are so many solutions, so many. Today, available today to the American people and around the world that's tried and tested, that absolutely helps COVID, if COVID is your main concern with the vaccine. My issue with vaccines in this country is this has been coming a long time. We've normalized vaccines to the point where flu season, the vaccine's free. It's free and everybody should get it. Why? It's to herd mentality people so that when the government wants to pull a trigger in saying, now we're going to deposit something into your body, no conspiracy, that should not be in your body, that people just willingly line up like cattle to the slaughter. So my kids are not vaccinated, and I'll tell you why. I'm from Africa. We've got West Nile, Ebola. We've got viruses you've never even heard of. We laugh at COVID, okay? Right? And we have 17 vaccines from when a child is born until he leaves high school. 72 in the United States with not a iota of the amount of diseases that we have in Africa. So you have to ask yourself why. Why? And what's in them? And why should vaccines not be tested by a board and approved by a board? Why is there a separate unit that says, oh, this vaccine is good for kids and go put it in someone's body? Until you can tell me what's in it and why it's in it and it doesn't check out medically, I don't trust them for nothing.
And why can we not, if we do choose to get the vaccine, you can't sue anybody if you had any kind of health effects.
Well, you can
Who's
go
responsible
through. You
for
can go
that?
through the government court, and good luck
Because it's
to you
not
there.
FDA regulated. The vaccines are not FDA regulated.
So all the
There's
people,
no recourse.
what I say is all the people lining up to get flu shots, have at it. If this will make you feel comfortable, again, I'm not anti-vaccine, I'm not anti-mask, but whenever I don't have to wear it, I don't wear it.
Yeah.
And same thing.
You're pro-choice for.
I'm
those
pro-choice.
right?
I'm
I'm never
pro-choice.
going to frown upon a single person that says my kids are vaccinated. I'm not that person because
No.
I'm not a hypocrite.
Yeah.
I can't be, hey, I want freedom, but I want to control your freedom. That's not me. But I'm going to make my own choices.
Yeah.
And nobody makes those choices for me, and you don't speak for me. And unless it checks out for me, one, according to my faith and according to common sense that needs to return to this country, try me to line up for that COVID vaccine. Let's see.
Well, you mentioned it earlier in the show. They told us this was just to flatten the curve. We flattened the curve. There was not a problem. We didn't overwhelm the hospital system. Then they said, well, we got to wait until we get less cases. And then they said, well, obviously we have to wait now until the vaccine comes out. Is that going to be the line for them? Once the vaccine becomes available, will they finally drop all of these ridiculous policies, the masks, everything else, or will it just be something else?
I think they're scrambling. Like I said, let's have the yellow highlighters they're poison. You can't use yellow, or COVID can jump to our pets, or whatever it is. We love our pets. We love rough greens.
Greens.
They're trying to. there's a movie called Wag the Dog. Are you familiar with that? And that's what this is. And it's clear to those of us who have seen what's going on and know and are enlightened, so to speak, about all of this. And again, what saddens me and what worries me is the people who are on the other side, and they don't know, they can't see this, and they're blinded to that. And they have the sheep mentality.
No, but Sarah, I'm just going to tell you, and I know sincerely, we've been very early on this show on a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. You have been very early, and you just said something that kind of it's alarming. It's very alarming. When that vaccine's available, regardless of what happens in November, right? What does it look like for those that say no? I'm not taking it.
You can't fly.
What's that going to look like, okay? And now how does that line up with our constitutional rights all of a sudden? How does that line up with the right to try and all the other things and your medical conditions and whatever you want, right? This is a real question. Even under whoever the administration is we're going to have a fight in this country when you start forcing medicine on somebody.
You can't do it. And that's why I said life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is going to be replaced by quarantines, vaccines, and masks if we're not careful. And we need to have our president. He's doing wonderful things in the Middle East, and I love all of this. But now it's got to come to this. We have to fight this COVID war, and we have to step up, and we have to show people we're not baby. We're not going to be pushed into the corner. We're going to speak up for ourselves. And if they want to be sheep and offer their veins, there's nothing we could do about it. But what's going to happen to us? You said, what does it look like for the people who don't? For me, we talked about. I've been to Africa many times, and I'm a hunter. Our lives during the quarantine didn't change a bit. I didn't do anything different. We live off the land. So go ahead. I don't have to travel. I don't have to go anywhere. I'm fine.
All right, we've got more to come. Back in a minute. In other news of the day, it's interesting because if you listen to the Democrat lawmakers, we keep hearing about how all of these wildfires that are raging along the West Coast are because of climate change. Obviously President Trump has something to do with it because he has something to do with everything these days. But we really have to talk about climate change when it comes to the Democrats' response to these wildfires, although there have been arrests of actual arsonists who are setting fires in this area. But that's just coincidence. But there is a video of one woman from Oregon who was quite ready to defend her property when she caught one of the arsonists in the act and ended up holding him at gunpoint until the police arrived. Her name is Kat Cast. She live streamed the video on her Facebook over the weekend. And here's a little bit of what that looked like. Watch.
Get on the floor! Get on the floor right down! Right down! What are you doing in my property?
Oh, I love that.
Passing through, I didn't know what property.
Did you light anything on fire?
No, ma'am.
What are you doing with those matches on your head?
I smoke.
You smoke? Where are your cigarettes?
The only ones I have is matches right now.
Did you light anything up on fire?
No.
What's your name?
And it's Corey Allen.
You're gonna stay right there. I got the cops coming.
Now, again, I don't know.
Can I cheer?
Please do. I don't know if everyone heard it, but he had matches. She saw him with matches. She said, "What are you doing with matches?" He said, "For a cigarette," and which I don't know anyone who uses matches for a cigarette. And then she said, "Where are your cigarettes?" "I don't have any. I don't." And then he got arrested. And apparently, he had multiple warrants out. One of them being for assaulting a police officer. So a really good dude. I'm sure he was up to just really, really honorable.
Going out for a stroll.
Yeah.
Taking
Of course.
I love this video. She's my hero because she's not getting pushed into the corner and she's standing up for her property. don't come on my property. And when people start messing with your property, you have got to defend it. And I love the fact that she's a woman and she told the guy what to do and he did it.
Yes.
And she did a little bit of the gun pointing, but I did see when she had her hand behind, she had her finger off the
trigger control.
She had some trigger control. So I love that. And you know what? The sad thing is, though, in this day and age, that we have to go there. That we have to think about defending ourselves and our property. And this, again, I don't think, as hunters and people who live off the land, and you see that in Africa, obviously everywhere, it's a whole different thing going on in Africa. I know about the land grabs, though. That's another story. But I love this woman. I love what she did, and I think she's a great role model. But it's sad that we have to go to that route.
Look, when we get into gun control and how to handle weapons, I've said before, get training. But what I really liked about what she did, other than just thank you for standing up, is it was with authority.
Yes.
It was confident. And I want women to know, you stand with authority. You go with a boisterous voice, and you do it with confidence, right? Because those individuals, they'll cower. And she went mama on him. I like that.
I love that.
Like, boy, I'm about to teach you, whoop you, and teach you at the same time. And dang it, the cops are coming. I'm going to pray over you too.
Yeah.
So
I didn't hear that part. That was left out.
No, she didn't say that, but I'm just like, that's what's next. You bless him, But thankfully, he didn't run. Mm-hmm. And that would be the way if you're a bad guy to do it. Just get down and say, okay, but here we go again. Priors. Warrants.
Why do they keep letting out the recidivistic scum, as my husband would say?
Because when you take law away, the lawless run amok. The insane run the asylum.
Yeah. And it's obviously when it starts encroaching on people's property and they have to protect themselves or their families. I had a death threat from visiting our president at the White House. I posted on social media, and I thought this was great. If you went to go visit the president and posted a photo, I thought I got so much hate. I spent 5 days I don't have a team of people.
Right.
It was me deleting all the hateful things, including a very specific death threat. And that made me wake up and realize, is this what this is coming to? That we can't speak our voice, what's on our hearts. Why is who I vote for going to cause you to want to kill me?
But it's not because it's not about, honestly, it's not about Joe Biden and Donald Trump. We're in a spiritual battle. We're in a war.
Is a spiritual war.
We're in a war for light and a war for darkness. And those that embrace darkness and hate don't care.
Yeah.
It's like the straw that breaks the camel's back. Whatever. They're looking for a reason.
In Matthew 5:15, it says, nobody lights a lamp and puts it under a shade. You let everybody see it, and that's what we're all trying to do.
Yeah. Amen. All right, we've got more to come back in a minute.
So do you teach self-defense too?
All right, yesterday's poll, will Joe Biden find a way of getting out of the debates? That is, as Shemaine just said, what'd you say, the $60 million question?
$60 million question.
Will he actually find a way of getting out of the debates? Can you guys show me on the screen? Because I don't have the paper right in front of me. There you go. Thank you. Almost 90% of you said yes. 10% of you said no. But how? How?
I tell you how.
He gets COVID?
He's going to be demolished in the first debate. He's going to have to do one.
That's what I think. He has to do the one. He's already agreed to it.
And then his team's going to go, whoa, we don't want to. But he's not going to get out of the first one.
There's no way.
No.
Come on, this is going to make such great entertainment. I can't wait for this because we don't need Netflix or whatever, all the other flicks out there. We just got to watch. Where's Hunter?
First question.
Where's Hunter?
Mr. President, what do you think? Hey, Joe, where's Hunter?
Well, people keep saying, the debates aren't going to happen. And I'm like, do not tell me that. I have been waiting all year. It's the only good thing about 2020 has been watching those debates with popcorn. Do not take that away from me. All right?
I know, right?
Before we go, don't forget, Simply Shemaine on Facebook Watch.
Yep.
Tell them the time again.
It's 5 p.m. Eastern, Shemaine.Nugent, the blue check.
Okay, perfect. Go catch it. She's amazing.
Come on.